All right, get ready, because today we are taking a deep dive into something, well, you spend a third of your life doing: sleep.
A third of our lives.
You sent over a ton of fascinating research in Hindi all about the science of sleep and how it impacts your health.
And there's so much to unpack.
Yeah. I was blown away by some of this stuff. It goes way beyond just feeling tired. We're talking about heart health, brain power, everything.
Absolutely. It really is foundational to our well-being.
Okay, so to kick things off, I want to share this story that honestly just stopped me in my tracks.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
Ranjan, maybe you've heard of him.
The CEO?
Yeah, he was the CEO in India who seemed like, the picture of health.
Right.
Worked out constantly, ate super healthy, even ran marathons.
Wow.
But tragically, he died of a heart attack at a fairly young age.
Oh, that's so sad.
And despite this incredibly active lifestyle, the underlying issue was chronic sleep deprivation. He was convinced that 4 hours of sleep was all he needed.
That's a common misconception. We often overestimate our ability to function without enough sleep.
It's like we think we're superhuman or something.
Exactly. And this case just highlights how crucial sleep is for our health.
It is a serious wake-up call for sure.
Definitely.
And it's not just an isolated incident either, right?
Yeah.
There's a ton of research showing that sleep deprivation can really impact our heart health.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Take daylight saving time, for example.
Oh, yeah.
When we spring forward and lose that hour of sleep, studies have shown a 25% increase in heart attacks right after the time change.
Seriously.
And get this, the risk stays elevated for 2 whole days. It's incredible how much even 1 hour can impact us.
That's wild. It's not just about the quantity of sleep, though, right? It's about the quality of sleep, getting enough of those different sleep stages.
You're exactly right. Like deep sleep, for instance.
Yeah, deep state.
During deep sleep, our bodies go into repair and restore mode. Cells regenerate, muscles rebuild, our immune system gets a boost. If we consistently skimp on deep sleep, those essential processes just don't have enough time.
I see.
And that leaves us vulnerable to all sorts of health issues.
Including heart problems.
Exactly, including heart problems.
It's like if you never took your car in for maintenance,
Right.
eventually it would break down.
Exactly. Sleep is essential maintenance for our bodies.
So we need to make sure we're getting those deep sleep sessions in. But why is it that some of us feel that dreaded afternoon slump? Especially between 2 and 5 p.m.
The afternoon slump?
Is it just me, or is there something else going on?
Well, research has actually found that these afternoon slumps often coincide with a dip in our circadian rhythm.
Oh, right. Our body's natural sleep-wake cycle.
Exactly. This dip is perfectly normal.
Okay.
But it can definitely be exaggerated by sleep deprivation. And what's really intriguing is that this time also happens to be when heart attacks are statistically more frequent.
Wait a minute. So you're saying that feeling super sleepy in the afternoon could actually be like a warning sign? Like our body's trying to tell us something?
It's definitely a connection worth paying attention to.
That's a bit freaky, but it makes sense.
While more research is needed to fully understand it, the correlation is there.
So basically, ignoring those sleepy cues could actually be detrimental to our heart health in the long run.
It very well could be. Several studies have shown that people who consistently get less than 7 hours of sleep have a higher risk of developing heart disease.
Okay, so we know sleep deprivation affects our heart, but what about our brain?
Yeah, the brain.
I know there was something in the research you sent about sleep and brain function.
Yes, there's a fascinating experiment from 1894.
Okay.
It involves puppies, unfortunately.
Oh.
But it does highlight the role of sleep in brain function.
Okay.
These puppies were deprived of sleep. And the results showed that they developed brain lesions and sadly died. Of course, this experiment wouldn't be considered ethical by today's standards. Right. But it does underscore just how vital sleep is to the brain.
So even though the experiment was pretty intense, the takeaway is that sleep deprivation could have serious effects on the human brain too, right?
Absolutely. Think about what happens during sleep. Your brain is consolidating memories, processing emotions, clearing out toxins.
Oh, wow.
If you're chronically sleep deprived, all of those processes are disrupted. And that can lead to all sorts of problems, including an increased risk of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's.
Okay, now that's scary. You mentioned memory consolidation and processing emotions, and I know our sources talked about the different stages of sleep. Can you break those down for us? What's happening in our brains during each stage?
Of course. We cycle through 4 stages of sleep throughout the night. The first 3 are known as non-REM sleep.
Non-REM.
That stands for non-rapid eye movement. And then there's REM sleep.
Right, the dream stage.
Exactly. That's where we have those vivid dreams.
But you're saying that all of the stages are important. What's going on in those non-REM stages?
Well, they're setting the stage for that REM sleep magic.
Okay.
Stage 1 is kind of like a transitional phase when you're drifting off to sleep. Your muscles relax, your heart rate slows down, and your brain waves start to slow down too. Then you move into stage 2, where your brain waves slow down even further, and you become less aware of your surroundings. Your body temperature drops, breathing becomes more regular.
So it's like our bodies are getting all cozy and prepped for deep sleep?
Exactly. You're getting ready for that deep sleep.
Yeah.
Stage 3 is where the magic really happens.
Okay.
This is that deep restorative sleep. Your brain waves become very slow. It's difficult to wake you up during this stage. This is when your body releases growth hormone, repairs tissues, strengthens your immune system.
It consolidates those memories.
Exactly. And it's essential for feeling refreshed when you wake up.
So it sounds like stage 3 is the MVP of the sleep cycle. But what about REM sleep? What's going on in our brains during those dream-filled hours?
During REM sleep, your brain is incredibly active, almost as active as when you're awake. Your heart rate and breathing speed up, your eyes move around rapidly, and your brain is busy processing emotions, consolidating memories.
Consolidating memories again.
Yes, and even boosting creativity. It's like your brain is running a defrag program, sorting through the day's information.
So even though our bodies are relaxed, our brains are working hard. But why do we cycle through all these stages instead of just staying in that deep sleep all night?
It's a great question, and the answer lies in the delicate balance of our sleep architecture. Each stage has a specific role. We need both deep sleep for physical repair and REM sleep for all that mental and emotional processing.
Okay, so it's this perfectly choreographed dance between our bodies and brains.
Precisely. By cycling through these stages, we ensure both get the rest they need.
But what happens if that dance is interrupted? Like if we wake up in the middle of the night?
That's a crucial point. Even if you spend 8 hours in bed, if your sleep is constantly interrupted, you're not getting enough of those crucial stages.
That makes sense.
Think of baking a cake and constantly opening the oven door.
Oh, yeah, I know that feeling. It's not pretty.
It won't turn out right. You need those uninterrupted blocks of time.
It's not just about the quantity then, it's about the quality. Okay, so we've established that sleep is crucial for our physical and mental well-being. But how bad is sleep deprivation, really?
Well, research has shown that being awake for 17 hours straight can impair your cognitive abilities to the same extent as having a blood alcohol content of 0.05%.
Hold on, seriously. So, like, pulling an all-nighter is basically like driving tipsy.
It's not something to take lightly.
It's a terrifying thought.
Your reaction time slows down, decision-making is compromised.
Oh, wow.
You're more likely to make mistakes. That's why drowsy driving is such a major problem. In fact, in India, it's responsible for more accidents than drunk driving.
That's a sobering statistic. Okay, so sleep deprivation is bad for our heart, our brains, and it makes us dangerous drivers. But let's switch gears for a moment and talk about solutions. What can we actually do to improve our sleep?
You're right. Information is great, but action is key. Luckily, there are a lot of science-backed strategies to enhance sleep.
So hit me with those practical tips.
One key principle is activating our parasympathetic nervous system.
The rest and digest system.
Exactly, as opposed to the sympathetic nervous system, which is that fight or flight response. One of the most powerful things you can do is harness the power of sunlight. Getting enough sunlight during the day, especially in the morning, helps regulate your sleep-wake cycle.
So it's like setting your internal clock to the right time zone.
Precisely.
Got it. What else can we do?
Another crucial tip is to avoid blue light in the evening.
Ah, right, from all those screens.
That blue light tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime, which suppresses melatonin production. Try dimming the lights in your house a couple of hours before bed.
So sunshine during the day, darkness at night. Got it. What about temperature? Does that play a role?
It does. A cool room temperature is ideal for sleep. Aim for somewhere between 20 to 24 degrees Celsius. Your body temperature naturally drops as you fall asleep, and a cooler room can help that process.
That makes sense. I definitely sleep better when it's not too hot. And what about exercise?
Regular exercise is incredibly beneficial for sleep.
Okay.
It releases endorphins, reduces stress and anxiety, both of which can interfere with sleep. Plus, exercise tires you out physically, which makes it easier to fall asleep.
It's like a triple whammy. Okay, so we've got sunshine, blue light avoidance, cool room, exercise. Anything else?
Well, if you're really struggling, you might consider trying melatonin supplements.
Oh, right.
Melatonin is a hormone that regulates your sleep-wake cycle. Taking a small dose about 30 minutes before bed can be helpful for some people.
Interesting.
But always best to consult with your doctor before starting any new supplement.
For sure. Always good to check with your doctor. Anything else?
Meditation can be really powerful for calming the mind and preparing for sleep.
I agree. It's like giving your brain permission to finally switch off.
Exactly. And speaking of powering down, there's one more technique I wanted to share.
Oh.
The military sleep method. It was developed during World War II
Really?
to help soldiers fall asleep even in those high-stress situations.
Wow. Okay, now I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this military sleep method.
It involves a few simple steps. First, get into a comfortable position and focus on deep breathing. Imagine each breath calming your nervous system, releasing tension from your body. Then, systematically relax each muscle, starting with your face and working down to your toes.
Okay, so deep breathing, muscle relaxation.
Huh.
What's next? Do we start counting sheep?
Not quite. Close your eyes and visualize a peaceful scene. It could be a field, a beach, a happy memory, anything that evokes a sense of calm.
So it's like a guided meditation, but with a focus on physical relaxation too. What's the science behind why this works?
The deep breathing exercises activate the vagus nerve, which is a key player in the parasympathetic nervous system. This triggers a cascade of changes in the body, including slowed heart rate, lowered blood pressure, reduced anxiety.
And those are all essential for good sleep.
Precisely.
This makes so much sense. I'm definitely going to try this tonight.
You should.
And listeners, you should too. Let us know how it goes. But before we get too carried away, I think it's important to summarize what we've learned so far.
Yeah, let's do a quick recap.
We started off by highlighting the story of Ranjan, the CEO who, despite being outwardly healthy, died of a heart attack due to sleep deprivation.
Right. And we talked about the link between sleep and heart health, how even a small amount of sleep loss can increase the risk of heart attacks. And then there's that crazy fact that sleep deprivation can mimic the effects of alcohol, making us dangerous drivers.
It's true. Sleep is not something to take lightly. We also explored the impact of sleep on brain health, both historically and in modern research, how sleep deprivation can lead to cognitive decline, even conditions like Alzheimer's.
And of course, those fascinating sleep stages. We have deep sleep for physical restoration, REM sleep for processing emotions and consolidating memories.
And we started talking about practical strategies for improving sleep, focusing on things like sunlight, blue light avoidance, temperature, exercise.
And we touched on melatonin supplements, meditation, and that intriguing military sleep method.
Right. This has been a whirlwind of information, but I feel like I'm starting to see sleep in a whole new light. It's not just about feeling rested, it's about protecting our hearts, our brains, our overall well-being.
Sleep is an investment, not a sacrifice. Even small improvements can make a big difference. But we're not done yet.
There's more.
Oh yes. In the next part of our deep dive, we'll be exploring even more aspects of sleep science, like the impact of our modern lifestyles on our sleep, and the concept of sleep debt.
Oh, sleep debt. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our deep dive into the science of sleep. Before the break, we were talking about all those amazing tips for better sleep.
So many strategies.
But let's be honest, with our busy lives, it's tough to stick to them perfectly.
Absolutely. Our modern world is full of distractions and demands.
Exactly. So what happens when we don't get enough sleep? I've heard this term sleep debt, and it sounds a little scary.
Sleep debt is a real thing, and it can have some serious consequences. Essentially, when we consistently get less sleep than we need, we start accumulating a deficit.
So it's like owing money, but we owe our bodies sleep instead.
That's a great analogy. And just like financial debt, sleep debt can cause a lot of stress and problems. It affects us in many ways.
Like what? What happens when we have a lot of sleep debt?
Well, on a basic level, you feel tired, sluggish, you can't focus. But sleep debt also impacts your mood, makes you more irritable. It can even weaken your immune system.
Seriously. So I'm more likely to get sick if I'm sleep deprived?
Exactly. Your body needs sleep to repair and recharge. If you're not getting enough, your immune system can't fight off those bugs as effectively. And over time, sleep debt can increase the risk of serious health problems like heart disease, diabetes, even obesity.
Wow, I had no idea it was that serious. I've definitely pushed through way too many days on coffee and willpower thinking I was being productive.
It's a common mistake. We try to push through the tiredness, but it's our body's way of saying, hey, I need a break.
So how do we even start to pay back that sleep debt? Do I need to start sleeping like 10 hours a night?
You don't have to make any drastic changes. Start small. Try adding just 15-30 minutes to your sleep time each night until you're getting around 7-9 hours.
Okay, so baby steps are okay.
Absolutely. Consistency is key. Try to go to bed and wake up around the same time each day, even on weekends. This helps regulate your circadian rhythm.
Right, keep that internal clock running smoothly. So we've got sunshine, darkness, cool room, exercise, consistent sleep schedule. Anything else we can do to tackle this sleep debt?
Those are all great starting points. But we need to talk about the elephant in the room, our modern lifestyles.
Yeah, it's hard to escape the constant stimulation. Our brains never really get a chance to shut off.
Exactly. We're bombarded with information, artificial light, and it's all impacting our sleep. Think about the blue light from our phones and laptops. It's telling our brains to stay awake.
Right, even when it's bedtime. And then we have all that stress from our busy days keeping us wired at night.
It's a recipe for sleep deprivation. But the good news is that recognizing these challenges is the first step towards making positive changes.
Okay, so what can we do? Do we all need to live off the grid?
No need to go that far. It's about finding a balance. Start by becoming more aware of your screen time, especially in the evenings. Set limits on phone usage, use blue light filters. Maybe create a tech-free zone in your bedroom.
I like that idea, a tech-free zone. It's like giving my brain permission to power down.
Exactly. And don't underestimate those relaxation techniques. We talked about meditation and the military method, but things like deep breathing, gentle yoga, even a warm bath before bed can help calm the mind and prepare for sleep.
Relax, unplug, prioritize sleep hygiene. Got it. Anything else we should keep in mind?
If you're really struggling, don't hesitate to reach out to a healthcare professional. There are conditions like insomnia or sleep apnea that can significantly disrupt sleep and may require medical intervention.
That's a good point. Sometimes self-help isn't enough. There shouldn't be a stigma around seeking help for sleep problems. It's just like any other health concern.
Exactly. If you're having persistent trouble sleeping, talk to your doctor. They can help you figure out what's going on and recommend the best course of action.
Well, this has been really eye-opening. I'm starting to see sleep in a whole new way. It's more than just feeling rested. It's vital for our overall well-being.
That's exactly right. Taking care of your sleep is one of the best things you can do for your health.
So before we wrap up, you mentioned earlier that there's even more to learn about sleep. What else did you find in those sources?
In the final part of our deep dive, we'll be exploring some more unexpected connections between sleep and our lives, like our relationships and even our evolutionary history.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Stay tuned, listeners. We'll be back after a short break to uncover the final mysteries of sleep. All right, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into the world of sleep. We've covered so much already. The impact of sleep deprivation, tips for getting better sleep. But I have a feeling you've got more fascinating insights to share.
I do. One thing that really stood out to me was the connection between sleep and relationships.
Oh, interesting.
Specifically, the idea of sleep divorce.
Sleep divorce. Okay, now that sounds a bit dramatic.
It might sound that way, but it's not about ending the relationship. It's more about recognizing that sometimes prioritizing individual sleep needs can actually benefit the relationship.
So it's not about a lack of love, but rather about getting good sleep.
Precisely. It's about understanding that sometimes the best way to nurture a relationship is to ensure both partners are well rested. We all have different sleep patterns and preferences.
So sleeping apart can actually bring couples closer together. That's kind of counterintuitive, but I see the logic.
Exactly. It's not just about snoring or movement either. Different sleep schedules, temperature preferences, even things like reading lights can disrupt a partner's sleep.
It's about creating an environment where everyone can truly rest.
Exactly.
And it seems like more and more couples are embracing this concept.
Absolutely. Research suggests a growing number of couples are choosing separate sleep spaces. And there are even companies catering to this trend, developing mattresses designed to minimize sleep disturbances.
Wow, that's fascinating. So even if you share a bed, you can still have a personalized sleep experience. But let's zoom out for a second. Why do we even sleep in the first place?
The big question.
It seems strange when you think about it. We spend hours unconscious, vulnerable. Why hasn't evolution gotten rid of sleep?
Because sleep is absolutely essential for survival. Think of it as vital downtime for your body, that repair and restore mode. During sleep, our bodies and minds get to work, repairing tissues, consolidating memories, strengthening the immune system.
So sleep is like a full system reboot.
Precisely.
Hi.
And all of this is regulated by our internal clock, the circadian rhythm.
Right, the circadian rhythm. When it's working properly, we feel energized during the day and sleepy at night.
But in our modern world, we're constantly disrupting our circadian rhythms with things like artificial light and late-night screen time.
It's no wonder so many of us are sleep deprived. But the good news is we can take steps to get back on track.
Absolutely. By prioritizing sleep, we're prioritizing our physical and mental health, our relationships, our overall well-being.
This has been an incredible journey. I'm feeling inspired to make sleep a priority. It's not just about feeling rested, it's about investing in a healthier, happier life.
I'm so glad to hear that. And before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought.
Ooh.
What if we started seeing sleep as an act of self-care, a gift we give ourselves?
I love that. Sleep as self-care. It's a powerful perspective shift.
It is.
So to everyone listening, embrace the power of sleep. It's an investment in your well-being.
Sweet dreams, everyone.
Thank you all for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of sleep. We'll be back soon with another intriguing topic. Until then, sleep well, stay curious, and keep learning.